All right, we're recording.
Recording, okay. Well, let's call the July meeting of the Easthampton Historical Commission to order. It is 6:28. I don't believe there's any public speak because I don't see any other public here. We'll skip past that. Do we have the approval of the April minutes? Everybody should have a copy of that. 2 copies, actually.
I move to approve the April minutes.
Okay, a second?
A second.
Second.
Here's Tracy.
No, that's my phone.
That's your phone.
Hello.
Yeah. All right.
Well, I can second too.
You lose people like this. That doesn't happen when you're meeting at 50 Payson.
Beverly, I'd muted you while you were on the call.
You got to get on muter.
Bev, you got to unmute yourself.
Mute.
There we
Okay.
go. All right. So we have a motion to accept the April minutes and a second from John. And I guess we still need to do roll call on these votes, right?
A third from me.
Yeah, okay. So all in favor, Nora? Yes?
Yes.
John, Beverly?
Yes.
Yes. And John?
Yes.
Chairman? Yes. Okay. Second order would be the June minutes, if you have a chance to take a look at them. We can we'll give you a minute. I mean, there's like a page and a half, I think. I didn't really have any other questions on it. It seemed pretty cut and dried. Do we get a motion? Whatever.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Second.
Last meeting.
Second.
Second. Okay. Nora, yes or no?
Yes.
Beverly?
Yes.
Yes. John?
Yes.
Chairman says yes too. All right. Correspondence. Do we have anything, Jamie?
There was that planning board transmittal for 2 projects. One was the 590 East Street, and the other was a multifamily project on
Hendricks.
Loudville Road.
Loudville, yeah.
What was the first one?
The 590 Street.
Oh, 5 and 9. Okay.
Is that going to be an open Zoom meeting, Jamie?
Yes. The abutters notices went out yesterday. So as an abutter, Beverly, you should get your notice in the mail the next day or 2.
Okay.
That'll have the meeting information. If not, the agenda should be will be posted on the website under the planning board for it. It's scheduled for the July 21st meeting.
21st, right.
So
I noticed the thing that you sent out said that we could submit things ahead of time. Submit comments ahead of time.
correct. If you have comments, you can send them directly to Jeff Bagg, the city planner. You can also, there will be time at the meeting as well to speak. And is that Tracy who just joined?
I believe so.
Yes.
There's a-
All right.
How y'all
Welcome.
doing?
Hi, Tracy.
All right.
Hey, Tracy.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hello.
Hi, Tracy.
Oh,
Hi.
you just over by phone, I imagine, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. We'll have to do. Can't see your smiling face, though.
It's okay. It looks a little different. It's a little hairy, so I don't think I want you to see it.
Oh,
haven't shaved in a while.
You know, right.
Damn, I gotta shut this
Take that
off.
phone off the hook, Beverly.
Hello?
Okay, I'm gonna,
Hello?
All right, there's nothing else for correspondence besides the two projects that you were just speaking of?
yeah, that's the only thing that I am aware of.
Okay.
All right, Beverly, I muted you again.
All set? Okay. First order, we'll briefly touch on the New Haven, Northampton, or the New Hampshire Camden Canal program. We haven't met since the last time we talked about it, so there's really nothing more to say as far as current information.
I have a question. Is that company still planning on building their research facility on Route 10?
I still have not received, they haven't put anything formal that I've been made aware of. So,
Okay, because it looks like there's a for sale sign on the property still.
yeah, I would imagine that they're going to keep that sign up until,
Closed, right?
yeah, until it's closed or.
All right.
So I did actually want to say I took a look at, so this is with response to the canal project. I took a look at one of the maps that was shared with us, and there are a couple of locations where we had, there were resources that are shown to still be possibly in existence that we hadn't brought up. So I'm going to just pull it up and then share the screen. If I can. This works. Okay. So obviously Tracy is not going to be able to see this, but
No.
is everyone else able to see this map?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so what we're seeing here is the blue line here is the site of the old canal, resources, and then it turns to gray. It's blue where it potentially still exists, and it's gray where historically things existed but are no longer there. So, sorry, just trying to.
So you're talking
right
off of West Street there, or?
Yeah, so there's the North Manhan River Aqueduct is shown as not existing. I don't know if anyone had any confirmation of whether or not that is still do we know it doesn't exist, or if there might be pieces of it there.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Yeah.
No idea.
Looks like the lock was probably taken out when they put the road in. We've got a couple of locks still there, though, supposedly, huh?
Right.
But isn't that Southampton, though?
Well, that's on the border. That's the Manhan River right there. So
Yeah.
probable site of Lock 27 was Southampton. The North Manhan River Aqueduct was the a 60-foot wide aqueduct where the canal went over the Manhan River.
Okay.
And then there's a couple of more locations. There's a bit of canal bed that might exist. So this is West Street here, and this is the Manhan River.
Amy, is there anything you can do to make your cursor more evident? You're saying this is, and I don't see where that is.
Sorry.
It's hard to see.
How about this? Can you see the?
Yeah, that's
little-
good. Thanks.
Okay. Right. So between the Manhan River and the Route 10, there's a couple sections where we have canal bed that might exist. There's this culvert, which again, it's saying that exists. Collapsed Tavern and Warehouse, which we know exists still.
The culvert is basically crossing, is that Bassett Brook? Right here on West Street.
Yeah.
And so West Street is basically on top of that. That stone arch that if you went down in the yard over here, you'd be able to look in and see it.
Okay.
So there's a pretty good section from Collapsed Tavern out to, it looks like Highland Avenue, basically. That should be there.
So this from basically Route 10 to Highland Ave. It looks like it's pretty much still in existing, and then a short section along through the industrial park, maybe along. This is the rail trail here in Lovefield Street. So this goes through. I'm not sure exactly where the route is. I think O'Neill Street comes around like this, and then Industrial Drive is like here.
It's over here, right? Right here, yeah.
So those were the areas that I sort of was going to make a recommendation that we include for maybe a targeted inventory work or targeted archaeological work at a later point in time.
Jamie,
yes.
The top of this map, it says site of culvert. Is that
yes.
At the very top? Northampton Street converges with the railroad, right? It says
yeah.
It's
so
53 there. Is that line the town line, or is that
this red and white line is Lovefield?
That's Lovefield.
And then the town line is this dashed line here. So site of culvert is just over the town line in Northampton.
All right. Yep. That's on Lovefield Street, somewhere in that vicinity.
Yeah, I think that's the one that I've seen the most. I've gotten off the bike and I've parked the car and kind of walked it early on, and you can still see the earthworks quite plainly. I don't know about anything else, but that part seems both undeveloped enough that there might be the chance to do something with it, and that it's preserved enough that it's worth it, and the proximity to the bike path is really nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then when you go a little bit further north into Northampton, along the bike path and the canal seem to be at the same point. They converge.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I did not realize that most of the rail line that became the rail trail was actually very separate from where the canal was, at least in Easthampton.
Did they use the earth from the canal to create the rise for the rail?
In other locations, I think, but in Easthampton, it looks like they just went a different route.
Ah.
Yeah, because they wanted to bring the rail into town and not
behind the mills.
Yeah. Exactly. All right, that's pretty good. Good information.
Yeah, and I'll throw it out there. I wonder if we were doing something at that area, if we did something and got Northampton to tag on and do something, would we create sort of a double-sized, experience?
Mm-hmm.
Tag team on that.
Is Northampton interested in doing anything?
Northampton is involved in part of this project as well. They are, so the way the project's shaping up is that PVPC is going to be putting together a lot of the preliminary work to create the RFP, but that we're going to then have to, after PVPC is going to then go their separate way, and the rest of the municipalities are going to have to put together the RFP to actually do the historical inventory. So there's lots of questions still about what that project, what that's actually going to look like, what the RFP is going to look like, and but we're still at the inventory stage of the RFP. The RFP would be inventory, sort of existing, inventorying what's there, probably not doing too much archaeological recreations or anything like that at this point in time.
Oh.
But maybe that's the next step.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to be able to do something. Unfortunately, a lot of this, except for maybe where John was talking, it's not real easy to get to, and obviously it's on private property. But we'll see what we can do. Okay. Nothing else?
Nope.
Okay. We'll move on to the demo delay bylaw. I haven't had a lot of time to put stuff together. I'll get something to everybody by the end of the month. So I'm going to table that for right now. We want to get on to item number 7, which is probably the most important thing we have to talk about in quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Jamie?
I think so.
Yeah. All right. So basically, we need to kind of define our scope of work for the survey and planning grant, and we aren't scheduled to meet yet, are we?
No,
No,
I've not made.
But we do need to meet with Michael Steinitz and Peter Stott of the Mass Historical with some basically our scope of work. So we need to kind of get down to brass tacks and iron out a target list of 100 roughly resources. And the other thing was we need the selection committee. You want to talk about the item C?
So, right. So after a long delay, we finally got our introductory meeting with Mass Historic regarding the survey and planning grant for the Main Street extension. If everyone remembers, we got CPA funding for half of it and MHC's the other half. The first couple things that we need to do is to put together an RFQ to hire a consultant to do the inventory work. And part of that's coming up with the scope of work, a preliminary target list of resources, and coming up with, in the RFQ, the selection criteria and the selection committee. So Mike and I were talking briefly, and we thought it made sense to have the selection committee, putting it out to members of the Historical Commission first and foremost. If people are interested in looking at those RFQs and doing evaluations and being part of the process to help develop that RFQ and making sure that it has everything in there that we would want a consultant to have with regards to credentials or just evaluating them one against the other. So let's leave that to discussion or questions.
And what did you have in mind for the selection committee as far as like members and whatnot?
Usually they're between 3 and 5 people. I'll be on the committee. Mike's going to be on the committee. We'll probably have the Mike Owens, who's a procurement officer, be part of it. And, you know, there's anyone who wants to be anyone from the Historical Commission who wants to look through the responses and grade them, evaluate them, and be part of that process. So if anyone's interested, now would be the time to express interest.
Naturally, my signal dropped out in the critical part of what you were saying there.
Well, that's a great excuse.
Well,
Yeah.
That was fortunate, John.
I caught the speak up now if you're interested and the, well, here's the basic description. I'm sorry.
We're putting together a selection committee to go through the responses to the RFQ for the hiring the consultant.
Right.
Anybody that would be interested to, you know, to participate.
So
in
just
that.
read the RFQs and yeah. Yeah, I'm willing.
Yeah,
to
I mean,
with that.
great. And we might be, depending on what people's availability are, the people who are interested in being on the selection committee would also be, you know, we'll send drafts of the RFQ before it goes out. And if you have time to respond, review, respond, comment beforehand, then that'd be great.
Are we assuming this is all going to be still on Zoom for a while?
Yeah, so it's going to be written proposals, and so you would get presumably if they're going to be hard copies, we'll have a copy. Everyone who's on the committee will get us one copy of each proposal to review in a grading sheet, and then you would fill it out, and when you're done with it, either drop it back or scan it and send it back.
Okay. Yeah. All right, and okay, so
John's interested. Anyone else?
Yeah, I could probably do it also.
Okay, great.
that gives us at least 5, right? Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so Nora, Tracy, not at this time.
I can't right now.
Okay,
Not at this time.
great. There'll still be other opportunities for you to be involved in this project, so you're not missing out.
Yeah.
Point out there's no hazardous duty involved with this, Nora. All right, so now basically we need to be kind of evaluating the resources that we have out there and pick the 100 thereabouts that we would be interested in looking at, and I'm not really sure the best method of going about that, especially within that target area. One thing I did just kind of happened over the weekend, somebody on the forum had a question about the old fire maps that the Sanborn Company had created like in the 1880s up until like 1938.
What do you mean by fire maps?
Well,
They're fire insurance companies.
fire insurance maps. So basically, kind of, I have some right here. I can hold it up and see if you actually. There you go. That's right in the center of town. Right there's the Williston campus.
Sort of hard to see.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. I mean, it's just a piece of paper, so it's like.
Mike, are these from digital or are these?
These are available online at Library of Congress.
Okay.
If you do a search for Sanborn maps, it should lead you right there. Pretty easy to find.
Great, thanks.
And there's actually a lot of information. I made some copies just for my own kind of benefit of 1916 and kind of the same area in 1884, just to see what the changes were. and it's pretty interesting actually.
I still don't understand what you mean by fire maps.
Fire insurance maps. So with the insurance companies would look at these and see what they had for the buildings. What it basically shows what the buildings were made out of. If you, I know it's not easy to see. However, some of the buildings are yellow, some are pink. The pink are brick buildings, the yellow ones are frame.
Okay.
And they'll show what they have for roof materials on a lot of them. Like I said, this is kind of small, so I mean, the maps as they were made were 50 feet to the inch, so they're fairly big. But there is, you know, you can go on the Library of Congress, and if you do the search for the Sanborn maps, it'll have a breakdown. You can go to Massachusetts, and then it breaks it down by county. And you can actually zoom in on them pretty good and see, you know, what all the writing says and everything. So, like I said, there's a huge amount of information on them. You know, even like where porches were located, what the roofing material was between like slate and tin or asphalt or whatever.
What were the years of these maps?
The latest one for Easthampton was 1916, and the earliest was 1884. There you go.
Yeah. So
which one is this? This is
they only have 2 zooms right now. So this is Union Street, Payson Ave. Here's where the municipal building is, but that is no longer that. So these, I'll zoom in.
Interesting how there's actually, you look at you at the 1916 one.
I don't know. I just typed in. I just googled this, and this was the first one that came up.
Yeah. Okay.
Says it at the top.
1895.
Oh, okay. 1895. Yep. Nice.
So, you know, here's a little bits of the information that they would have.
Yeah. Like I said, there's quite a bit on there. I mean, it's a pretty good representation of downtown how it was at one time. It would be kind of interesting to take the latest one we have, like 1916, and look to see what is actually still existing, and get a closer look at them. Especially when you're in these areas like off Union, Liberty, Park Lane.
Yep, train station.
Jamie, is there any way that this can be an overlay with existing? Is that a doable? That would be great,
Definitely.
wouldn't it?
Yeah, they definitely, you can geo, using like GIS, you can put these in, and you can put them as layers showing what's new, what's there now, what the street layout's now, and how it's changed over time. I don't have that capability at work here, but they do exist. I've seen them geo-rectified and overlaid on existing. So.
There's actually, you know, with the section you're at right now, the Union and Payson, the 1884, I believe it was. There was only 3 pages of maps for that year. On the 1916, there's 22 pages, so that's how much they expanded out. The footprint's the same, 50 feet to an inch. So they just update these on a regular basis, which is.
Does it do the whole town or just the central section of town?
like I said, with the 22 pages, there's a lot more that's taken into consideration. Most of them have a title page that'll show kind of like an index, especially the bigger cities, not so much Easthampton. But what was this one here? 1884, the mill at like one cottage, and that does not really exist. The Upper Mill Pond is, Nashwauk Pond is called Upper Mill Pond. Williston Avenue doesn't exist, and it's kind of neat. And Payson Avenue is actually called Village Street. There's quite a few differences.
That's really amazing. That's fantastic.
I mean, it's like I said, I think it's a great resource. I wish we had more.
Amazing resource.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
It's amazing resource.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And like I said, I'd seen them before, never really thought too much of it. And then this guy had a question about a house in Medford or something like that. And so I started looking a little closely into it. And says, "Oh, got to have these for Easthampton." He did them all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. See, Payson Avenue Village. It must have changed it somewhere around that time.
That's really good stuff to have.
Yeah. See, that must have been shortly after they put in the dam across the pond and made Williston Avenue. Evidently, that big building there, they wouldn't insure it, huh?
No. Used.
Williston, okay, this is a Button building, right? Williston and Knight.
Yep.
And one of those buildings, I would say probably the last one on Union, is where the restaurant is now.
Well, isn't just to the left of the Williston Night Company, isn't that the boarding house that they built for the employees?
Yep. If you look at these maps here, it says on the boarding house, it's a 2.5, which says it's the number of stories.
Okay.
The little circle in the corner indicates what the roof is.
Okay.
And the D is basically a dwelling. So in the back, it's only 2 stories, it looks like, or is that a little hard to read?
Right.
The yellow part is probably a wood shed that's attached to it. There's also those hash marks on there, I think, indicate windows. Anything that if you were evaluating a building for fire risk, you would probably need to know.
Yeah, and I thought the colors meant something about the use as well. But
not sure if it has anything about use.
Don't.
I'm going to hang on one second here.
Interesting things like watchmen during winter is not the kind of thing you would easily know any other way, but there's a record of, which of these factories had watchmen during the winter and whether they had clocks and such.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, and here you have like what the different, so we have off-packing, trimming and winding, beaming, weaving and finishing.
Now, just to bring up an old topic, but when we've talked in the past about having some sort of museum to the manufacturing process, that's a really useful bit of information, because I know someone who can, like beaming and weaving, I don't know what it is, but I know somebody who can find us an existing museum of that material, and we could see exactly what kind of machines and what kind of processes that involved.
Well,
Yeah.
my grandfather was a weaver at United Elastic. He wove suspenders. He was the specialty weaver. So if an order came in for a name of a company or a person's name, he did the weaving of the suspenders.
So what this means to me is we not only could, and I've been interested for a while in attempting to sort of recreate the spaces virtually, but also the interiors. We would know or have some idea of, you know, what kind of machines were in there and what the inside of that shop would have looked like at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah.
The one thing that I actually was able to find out using these maps, and I have a key for the abbreviations, which is also helpful. I can share that later on. Where'd everybody go?
Here.
Jar?
Here. Here.
Yeah, here.
I lost my train of thought there for a second, but
The key for the abbreviations.
I had a picture. It's identified. It's a Lewis Hines picture from 1916, I believe, or 1912. Whenever he was in town taking his pictures, and it's identified as Cottage Street. Let's see if I can find it, and we'll share it. Can I attach something to this, Jamie? If I do find it.
You just share it, screen share?
Excuse me?
Share the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Here. Here we go. How do I do this here?
Towards the bottom of the screen, there should be an option to share screen.
Okay. Oh, here we go.
And then you have to select which screen it is, or which window it is that you want to share with everyone.
Oh, something just happened.
You're not sharing yet.
Okay, yeah, well, my screen just went black, so something's happening.
There you go.
Did it come up?
It says you started screen sharing, but it hasn't loaded the thing yet.
Wow.
Did that come up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is basically Cottage Street, or behind Cottage Street. The building in the background, it's a 3-story building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you go to Cottage Street now, that building's still there, but it's a 2-story building, which is kind of interesting. And by looking at these fire maps, it is identified as a 3-story building back in 1916. So I kind of confirmed, where this picture was taken from. It's the back alley looking towards Cottage Street. Matter of fact, by using these maps, you could identify exactly what that building is, where the kids are standing on the stairs. And
Are the backs of these buildings facing the pond?
Yes, this would be like where, well, this building here, the 3-story building in the background is where Easthampton Hardware used to be, Frankie Chuck's place.
Okay. Yeah.
Right across from the Brass Cat. So that would go out towards, towards the pond, but there's still quite a bit of land back there. The building where these porches are burnt down, and so the Grand Prix is there now, and whatever else, the Mission Taco. And And of course, obviously, this place is long gone, I imagine. There's actually 2 or 3 pictures of this back alley with the kids. One picture, the kids are running around. It's a great picture.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Where did you find this, Mike?
That picture I found on Library of Congress.
Okay.
Okay, I got the other one. It's the title of it is The Hovels Down by the River in Easthampton, Mass. So yeah, good stuff. But like I said, to even identify or prove to myself that I actually found the right spot. You're looking at these maps going to confirm that it's a 3-story building. I think what happened when the place next door burnt down, they probably had a damage to the roof, and they just tore the 3rd story off, and it saved the 2 stories because it's basically the same building. You can actually see the if you look in some old postcards and you can see the ornamentation on the trim work and all is the same. So it's definitely the same building. Now I'm lost again as far as where I'm supposed to be. Can I expand this out?
Don't see your mouse moving there.
You see my mouse moving?
No, I don't see it moving,
Oh.
and it seems like it ought to be.
Okay, oh, it's paused. All right, that's why. What the heck? Hide video panel. Does that do it? No. Stop share. Okay, there we go. New to this, but anyways, I said I think taking a look at some of this would might indicate some places we want to look at. The other thing, and I don't know what we were allocating for resources towards it, Jamie. Was it like 25 or 30 for the cemetery?
I thought it was like 2 or 3 for the cemetery, and this is something that we need confirmation from MHC about how many resources to count that for. And,
well, obviously, I mean, depending on what we have out in the general area too, I imagine if there's a lot that we really want to look at in the Main Street extension area, then we'll be dealing with that and not so much the cemetery. But
right.
The Main Street Cemetery has got some very, very old tombstones that are broken. And, it definitely needs some sprucing up too, and it wouldn't hurt to actually take a look at that and do part of that inventory anyways. So I guess the first task is basically to start defining exactly what we're going to be looking at. I mean, right down to the address, I guess, right, Jane?
Right. So that's the difficult thing. We need to identify the resources before we can go out to the RFQ, and we're trying to go to RFP in like the next month or so. So,
right.
So this is another project that if people want to provide input on, then we should probably have another meeting about with just the people who are interested or able to help with that.
Sounds good. I mean, I would be, definitely interested in meeting again, or even doing some field work on. Saturday's going to rain. I don't know how Sunday's going to be, but I'm available. So, I mean, even the evenings. So, if anybody wants to, join me for some walk around town or whatever, that might be a good place to start. Just set a time and a place.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right here.
All right.
Nora will leave you out of this.
Oh, no. I can walk.
You get you a wheelchair.
Hey, no, I can walk.
Tracy still there?
The next few days
Yeah, I'm
are
here.
out for me. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm free. It's just a matter of the time
Yeah.
for now.
Okay. Like I
I
said,
could do it.
I mean, you know, even an hour, maybe some night next
Yeah.
week.
Maybe next week, but not on the weekend.
Yeah, next week would be fine. I mean, just shoot me, give me a time. I mean, I have free time, but might as well do it while I have the free time.
I'm trying to think what, I don't think there's anything going on anyways, but Monday or Tuesday. Monday or Tuesday?
That would be fine.
What's a good time? Yeah. Go ahead, Beverly.
Our schedules are so packed right now.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, I will say if two people from the committee want to go and walk around together, that's fine. If three people want to do it, then we have to schedule it as a meeting.
I don't know. I think we might be able to get around that actually. Because if we're not making any decisions as far as
it still has to be.
Well, I'll opt out then because I'm still doing benches. They just found we did 2 benches. We're doing 2 more, and Rich just found a 5th one. So
I'll double check on that though. I think
it might just.
I think you can actually do that.
Yeah, it might just. Yeah, I mean, you might just need to post an agenda and then just say the minutes where we walked around the city and looked at buildings.
Yeah.
You know, the minutes don't no decisions. It just has to be properly noticed,
right.
And otherwise it, you know.
It's just not so you're not going behind anybody's back and making decisions.
Exactly.
I mean, important decisions on what to inventory or not is something else.
Right.
All right. Yeah. I mean. You know, like I said, anybody that wants to do it any night of the week, even if you know, let me know. Tracy, what time is good for you?
It would be probably either Monday or Tuesday. Preference in day time, afternoon or night. I don't know.
Well, I work, so I mean,
you work during the day.
Yeah, after 5, or 5 or 6 would be good for me.
Yeah, that would probably be fine. 5. Yeah. 5 or 6 works.
Okay. We'll start doing that. Everybody else, I mean, I guess if we get a list of what's already inventory of all, and maybe expand on what, read through some of those inventories, see what needs to be redone. I'm not sure how we treat those, like 14 Main, which has been rehabbed. I think, probably just have those properties like that redone. Make it part of the whole deal.
And so to clarify on the canal, we talked about 3 areas. Those are going to be defined as 3 separate areas. Those can't be one thing. That's 3 items on our list, I take it. And how do we define that since it doesn't have a street address?
So the canal is a separate project from the survey and planning grant.
Thank you for reminding me. That's right. I knew that.
I know it all survey together, but
it did for a moment there.
And they're similar. And the survey and planning grant, the survey and planning grant, I'm just gonna bring up a copy of so everyone sees the inventory, the area that we're talking about. Is so roughly the area that's outlined in black here. It does the Main Street. So this area here is the Main Street Historic District, National Register Historic District, and then it continues down. There's the Main Street Extension, which is included in here, and then down on the lower right is the Nashwauk Mills Historic District.
Right.
So we're looking, there's overlap between the existing Main Street Extension, but we're also looking at new resources, and
we can go outside that area a little bit, right?
Yeah, this was sort of an approximation, which was good enough for the grant application, but now we have to refine it to 100 resources within this general area that's sort of shown here. And so we can look at the Sanborn maps, or we can look to see what properties have been inventoried. But it's going to take some work to find that list.
Do we have any access to the building at all or not?
To 50 Payson Ave?
Yes.
Typically, no. Are you wanting to see what's in the files, Beverly?
Exactly.
We can try to see if we can get you in. But everything is also online on Macros. And I know that we, somewhere in the past, we've done some preliminary work of mapping. So let's see.
Okay.
Nora, is it still raining out there?
No, it's a beautiful
No.
rain night now.
Sun's out, kind of. And it doesn't look like it rained very hard here.
No.
Didn't get much here.
That's the only problem with this. Okay, so what else do you want? You think we should talk about there, Jamie, as far as this goes?
What are the big purple dots?
The purple dots are buildings that have been inventoried previously. And then the red areas are National Register Historic Districts, and the purple outlined area is just existing inventoried areas. So that's the Main Street Extension area. And you can see that the overlap between that property and let's see, are you able to see? I'm bringing back up the previous map. Do you see that one? No.
Not yet.
Right. I don't think I can do them both at the same time. All right. Well, maybe we should have a conversation offline about how best to proceed with this. But it's helpful that Tracy and Mike will do some walking around, and
yeah, I think that'll be probably the easiest way to do it.
To do it,
on the ground, and as long as we stay 6 feet apart, it'll be good.
Yep.
Right, Tracy?
Oh yeah, no problem.
And you're going to wear a mask, right?
Always. I got plenty of masks.
All right. Yeah.
Even coordinate my wardrobe with them now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I do, looking at the different areas, it looks like we want to focus on sort of this area between Union Street and Payson, going up to like Park Street or Main Street.
Is that Union at the edge, on the very edge there of the green line?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, probably. Do I have a copy of that?
Yeah, that's from that was in the final application that was sent in. So
Yeah, because we can work off of that as far as our walk goes.
Yeah.
All right, that'd be good.
All right.
Is there anything else we should touch on at this point, or
That's everything.
I'll be right
everything? Okay. Should we schedule a second meeting for later in the month to work on this again, or do you want to do that as like a subcommittee? I like to keep everybody in the loop, so.
I guess it depends on how many people are interested in being actively part of this at this point in time.
Beverly said she would, right? John?
Yeah, I'm in.
I'm in. I'm in.
Tracy? Okay.
Is it?
So yeah,
Yeah.
so then let's set another meeting. The next meeting would be what's it, August 12th?
Well,
So maybe we can go for.
today's the 8th. If we go to 22nd, that would give us 2 weeks and then 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah.
2 weeks and 2 weeks and 3 weeks. Let's see, 1, 2. Yeah, 2 weeks and 3 weeks. 1, 2, 3. Unless you want to go every 2 weeks.
I would prefer not to have any. I've already got too many things happening on the 22nd, so
You want to go?
we could do something on the 27th or the 23rd or the 29th.
29th is probably fine. I'm not, that gives us 2 weeks to the next one in August. Should we should have, it's pretty much done by the end of July though, right?
Yeah.
That's the only concern I have at this point. Today is the 8th, right? This month is going to fly by,
Yep. Why don't we go? Are people available on the 23rd? It's a Thursday.
Should be.
I think so.
Yeah. Yep.
Checking.
Oh, never mind. I'm not. Sorry. Sorry about that.
Never
And
mind.
And the 21st is the planning board meeting. So how about we go for the 27th?
27th, Monday night?
Yeah.
That's fine. You can see my calendar's full.
I can do that one.
Okay.
27th July, Monday?
Yep.
Okay.
Same
16
time.
Yeah, are
6
we
p.m.?
aiming for 6 or 6:30?
Let's do 6.
Let's do 6.
6?
Is 6 okay for everybody?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
Great.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
All right. So
Thank you.
schedule, so you do 27th. Yeah, we don't have to be on the 2 week thing anyways, Monday the 27th. And motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Aye.
Second.
second,
Second.
third.
Okay. And all in favor, Nora,
Aye, yes.
Beverly,
Aye.
Aye.
Tracy,
Aye. Aye.
John.
Aye.
All right. Meeting adjourned.
All right.
I'll see
All right.
Tracy on Monday night. What time do you want to do that?
This Monday, this up and coming Monday, correct?
Yep.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. Okay. I better write that down so I'll forget. 6 p.m. And where do you want to meet up? Or do you want me to
That's a
give you
good
a call?
question. Give me a call, because,
Okay.
you know, I ain't too far from anywhere from there, so
Right. If you don't hear from me,
give me a call.
give me a call. All right?
Yeah.
All right. That sounds good.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thank you. And,
Thank
Be
you.
well.
Hope you feel better, Nora.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, get well soon.
I'll
Take
be in
care,
touch with everybody.
Yep.
Maybe you want to do more than a couple of these walkarounds anyway. So, and I'll check on that open meeting law requirement. I saw something that basically exempted tours or something of that nature. So. All right, Jamie.
All right. Check in with Barbara. That's she's the go-to on open meeting law.
Right. Okay. Sounds good.
So, but if it's just you and Tracy, there's no need
Right.
to
Yeah.
do anything. So it's only if you get to 3 people.
If we get a quorum.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Good night, everyone.
All right, everyone.
At all.
Sure, thanks a
Have a
lot.
great night.
Thanks,
Be
too.
safe.
Good
All
night
right.
seeing you.